Hello and welcome back to Mount Borealis Zoo. My computer is already screaming in the background on how many pieces I think we have in this zoo, but oh my, am I loving this view. So today we are going to be essentially just wrapping up this whole little European Christmas village area, kind of like expanding it out to the park area there, making sure all the little details are done. And the staff rooms are all covered and all of that. I figured I'd show you guys all of that rather than doing it off camera and just jumping to the next thing. I want to just kind of wrap this up, take it a little bit easy on a little bit slower at the very beginning of this zoo, and just kind of, stay on the Christmas theme. This is going to be out right after Christmas, so a lot of you, I'm sure, will be on holidays when you see this come out, so I figured we might as well just do the Christmas thing, and then we'll probably take about a week break, and then in the new year come back and we can move on to other just wintry type things rather than Christmas specific. So I'm very excited about that. And other than that, there isn't really much else for updates going on in the zoo right now. We really haven't been getting any notifications other than like these two that are just kind of ongoing. But I'm not worried about those two right now. Workshop, we already researched everything in our last zoo, so until there's some kind of update, we don't really need to research anything else, so I'm not going to get that now. And security guards we don't need right away either. And besides that, I figured I'd give you a little overview of our operations so far. So I still only have one vet, one keeper, one mechanic, one caretaker. And essentially something that I have found really good in especially very beginning game when you're trying to save up some money is to level them up. These are level them up, rate them up rather than get more of them. So it's obviously their salary does go up a bit when you increase their rating, but I think it's still cheaper than hiring multiple. So a lot of these guys had very high workloads before they were leveled up, and now they're back to efficient without having to hire anybody else. So there's a little tip for you if you are kind of starting a new zoo and trying to manage your money a little bit. I do the same thing with the vendors just because it's kind of similar. They get high workloads, but it's kind of a bit of a slower process training all these guys up because there's a lot of them and they work a lot. But yeah, I just kind of come in here every once in a while and, click the up button. You can train them quite often, so that works out really well. I so far don't have any work zones going, but I think essentially this whole area will end up being a work zone. So, it seems to be fine. And apparently we have enough staff rooms too, so that hasn't really been an issue yet. The other thing that I've been keeping an eye on is our guest needs and stuff. I want to keep a better eye constantly on guest needs to make sure that we're not faltering and missing bathrooms or not having enough food stalls and that kind of stuff as we're going forward. So far it seems good. I mean, obviously our education is down a little bit, but that's, that is to be expected at the beginning. And the guest thoughts. One other thing too that I'm doing to save and make a little bit of money is keep this ticket price at this very neutral state. So if you lower it, it does give you a green, which is better for happiness overall, but obviously not better for money. So as long as it's not red, people will still come in. They just it doesn't attribute to their happiness because of the price. So I think that's a good way to do it at the beginning. I'll eventually make sure that it's in the green, but that seems pretty good. Zoo feels pretty small. Obviously, we're not doing anything about that at the moment. It'll expand over time. No rush. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They're also kind of complaining about cold, but not red complaining, so I'm not worried about this too much now. Once we are a bit more stable and maybe have some more animals and get to the point where we're not worrying about money, I'll probably put in heaters for the guests, but until then it should be fine. And yeah, that is pretty much, I know sometimes they have some issues with the info center being expensive, but I'm not really sure why that is. Anyway, but yeah, no crime yet either. Everybody seems pretty happy, so this is going, it's going fairly well. For education, I'm not gonna hire the educators just yet. I am a little bit worried, or educator, I guess I would only need one, but I'm not gonna hire them quite yet. I'm gonna wait until we get the third habitat in. And then one educator should be able to handle all three. But I am gonna, I think when I'm doing some detailing today, I might add in some more education boards, because that I know helps education rating a lot. And we have quite a bit of room, along the edges here and along walls and that sort of thing. So I'll probably add in a few of those conservation boards, just to, maybe put some in the park too, just to keep the guests good and educated there. But yeah, besides that, there really isn't much else. I don't think we have any new animals born yet. Yeah, no new beavers, because I mean, this hasn't been playing really much at all since last time. And yeah. Oh, both of our reindeer are pregnant again though, so that's fun. But yeah, it looks like our beavers aren't reproducing very quickly, which I guess is okay. I do have the animal aging speed on 3 times slower again. Same thing that we did with Onderheim Zoo, just so that, you know, they don't like age out before I even finish building, because I am so building focused and spend so much time on building. I want the animals to, like, you know, go a little bit slower. I like it better that way. But yeah, after today I'll clean up this area too, but I just want to make sure I have those blueprints in case I want to use some of them for some of these buildings. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So without any further ado, why don't we just dive right into the speed build part? So maybe a slightly less exciting time-lapse or speed build for today, but I do think we do a really good job of kind of rounding this out and all of that. So, you know, I hope this works out, or I hope you guys enjoy it anyway. But here we go. So yeah, the first thing that we're building here is kind of basically just this back building gate area to get to the park. So I did kind of want to block off the view a little bit. Essentially make it so that you have to kind of walk through here and then you get the nice view of the park behind it, rather than being able to really see what's going on there without going there. So a lot of this is all very similar themed, obviously, to everything else around, because I wanted it to fit in and just kind of close off this little town square area with the buildings. But I made this one's a bit shorter. I thought at first about maybe redoing the towers over here, but I thought we already did the towers and they look really good where they are, but I figured let's do something a little bit simple, just a little bit different here. And that's kind of what I went for with this last building, and I think it worked out quite well. Pretty straightforward. I just copy and pasted a lot of those same pieces that we were using, not in the ones right beside it, because I figured, you know, let's break it up a little bit. But I think these pieces were used in the bigger building across the way there. So yeah, I just figured that would be a good way to do it here. And then of course I needed one last chance to play around with these things. I just added a ton of them here because I was like, oh, well, maybe I could, like, you know, make a cool new pattern with them or something. So I don't know, I kind of like it. It's sort of cool. But yeah, essentially this is just building this building and then copying and pasting everything over. So nothing too exciting to note here, other than, I mean, the copy and pasting. I should have just waited and copy and pasted everything at the very end. I always do that. I get excited. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty much done. And then I go in and like detail afterwards with like decorations and and you'll see later on the like planters and then some of the Christmas, like the festive decorations in the game as well. So yeah, you know, it always ends up being a little bit more work than it should be, but it is what it is. There's no way to like perfectly, there's no way, at least for me, to perfectly efficiently build in this game. It's always kind of a work in progress, you know. But yeah, I wanted to play around a little bit more with these copper ones. I wasn't totally sure how I felt about like the copper roof right next to the Arctic roof, but I don't really notice it too much anymore now that it's like been there for a bit. So I think it kind of works. I think it kind of blends together in the end. It doesn't stick out as much once you've been looking at it for a bit. So I just kind of copied that like copper feel over to those little chimney parts on the main roof as well. But yeah, that is pretty much that building, apart from a little bit of details we'll do later on in the speed build. But the last little bit here is basically just, you know, foliaging up this area, kind of adding to the park a little bit all over the place here. I just wanted this to be, I did want it to be a little bit dense, like it was meant to be. It was a forest, and then we added in the pathways and like added in a little bit of decoration and that sort of thing. So I thought it could use a little bit more than just the trees that I'd put in originally. So that's all we're doing here, just adding a lot of the pine trees and the spruce trees, I think, and that sort of thing. I can't remember exactly which ones I ended up adding in, but basically everything Arctic and taiga. I went for everything that looked like it would fit in here. And yeah, I really love these yellow trees. I think they're the prettiest ones by far, but I think they blend in really nicely there. And yeah, playing around with these streetlights a little bit. I think these streetlights look really cool. I think they fit the theme really well here, which is awesome. And besides that, basically just benches and making sure we have all the benches and the trash cans. And then this is lighting. And then right after this, I also thought we should do a bit of a shelter here. So essentially I went through, I wanted to add, you know, bring in these cute, like, Christmassy style lights into this park as well. I didn't change the color of these ones. They are still white, I think, but I don't know. I think that's perfectly fine if we don't have all the exact same color lighting. But yeah, here I'm gonna build a bit of a shelter. Essentially, I thought, like, you know, it is cold, it's snowing here all the time. It probably makes sense to have a bit of a sheltered area here for guests. And I do like how it turned out. Like, it really sort of, what would you call it, like completed the park a little bit, made it so there wasn't so much just empty dead space. Although it was a little bit tedious to make, so it's always a little bit tedious to make these like curved pieces with the regular pieces. These are all like different structures, and then you can't really like copy and paste anything over, because when you do it in separate buildings like this, you can't just duplicate it. But that's okay, it worked out. I had to use the blueprint trick to get it over on the other side later, but I do like how it turned out. I think it looks pretty good here. I mean, it just kind of blends in and it matches up really well to the curve of the barriers, which I like, and it just kind of provides the guests a little sheltered area to watch the reindeer from, and the beavers as well. I'm making it here so that I can copy and paste it over. Although I realized that I made the blueprints with all of this like random stuff selected as well, so I had to go through and do it again. But you know, we get it in the end. Kind of throw it in here. I think I had to do this one twice too because I couldn't really get it to like match up perfectly. But yeah, I think it looks good over here too, even though the wood doesn't quite match as well because I couldn't do the wood barriers over on the beaver habitat anymore, since they kept eating through the barriers. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, maybe not as good as it looks on the reindeer part, but I think it still works out in the end. And then I thought adding lighting, could have done this before I made the blueprint and copied it over, but again, you know, we can't plan everything ahead. So yeah, just adding in a whole bunch of this really cute string lights in here too. I love these string lights. I'm gonna try not to use them too much in the other parts of our zoo, just because I know we've used them plenty already. But I don't know, I just think they're so, I don't know, they're nice, they're festive kind of, but also like I love those kind of fairy lights. I have them all over my office too, actually. Very similar, like going all over the walls, and you know, I have them outside, I have them in my living room. They're just I don't know, I love something about these kind of lights. I think are really very, I don't know, they really set the mood, I guess is the way to put it. I think it looks really nice. And then yeah, I just switched it to nighttime here to take a quick look and see if I lit it up to my satisfaction, and I suppose I did, because I did not add any more lighting. But the last that we do here, the last like half of this speed build is basically decorating. I didn't realize it took so much of the time for decorating, but yeah, a lot of this is actually just adding in, I mean, these planters we put elsewhere as well. And then I'm kind of repeating the same sort of lighting that I did everywhere else in here too on this building, just to like tie it in. And then it's going to be getting into actually putting up some of the like festive style decorations. There is something that I don't know, something very satisfying about like having this zoo already like right off the bat, kind of ready to go for nighttime. I've been mostly playing during the day just because it's easier to build in the light. But I think it'll be really cool to be able to have this zoo open basically 24/7. So we kind of get half nighttime, half daytime vibes going on when in the odd time that I actually keep it on play and do anything. I don't know, I guess that's not very often anymore, other than when I'm showing off the builds. But yeah, I think it's a nice little touch. And yeah, I basically just started placing these garlands and stuff absolutely everywhere. I had that cute little idea for the garbage can and then decided it would not be worth it to do it on every garbage can. But yeah, I was trying to figure out how to like use some of the other decorations, and then I thought maybe we don't need to go overboard and like use everything. We can just use some of these like cute ones. Like again, I put the garland everywhere anyway. I think the garland is such a classic like Christmas decoration. I think it fits really well basically everywhere here. And then I just thought those oranges were cute. And besides that, I didn't really use too many of the other decorations. Oh, I used those trees. I guess you saw me put the trees on earlier. And then I think I had mentioned last video as well, or maybe I mentioned it earlier on in this video, I don't remember anymore, about these education boards. So I figured we have a lot of extra space kind of around here. It's very open. A lot of these walls are very plain. So I figured I'd just, you know, make a cute little education board stand thing to go on here. And then just, you know, I just duplicated this in a bunch of kind of random areas to fill in some gaps and, you know, make sure that our guests are a little bit, you know, help with that education education rating for our guests. We will obviously get actual educators later on that should also help us with that rating, but this is always a good way to get them started on it. I do think it helps quite a bit, these education as well as the animal education, in terms of like getting to that 5-star rating. But yeah, the next thing that we're going to do here is redo the reindeer habitat because, I mean, it looked okay, I guess, but I didn't love it. So I figured I like these new blueprints that I made. I would just use the same style of the walls for this building, and then also make it like into the staff area building too. That way we don't have a whole bunch of like floating buildings out here. It's just kind of one big main area here, which I think works out really well. I keep the barrier there, just add a wall for them. So they basically have their shelter, and then the staff building is right nearby as well. Didn't really give me any issues. I didn't really add any, I still haven't added any more staff rooms. We have this one over here and then one over on the other side. So I'm not sure exactly, I might have to add another one for this area. I haven't had any complaints yet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I think I always go overboard with like staffing and having resources for the staff and stuff, because I always I don't know, I hate it when like the animals go hungry, so I just keep hiring keepers, and the keepers don't, like, they say that they don't have enough work to do, but my animals are still hungry, and it's very annoying. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna try in this zoo to like limit a little bit, make it so that our resources are a bit more reasonable when it comes to this sort of stuff. So yeah, that is basically my thought process here. We'll do 2 staff rooms for this area for now. See if the staff really need more than that. But in theory, if we don't add more like food and stuff, then we don't need to. Which actually reminds me, again, I know I mention it all the time, but just as a reminder, because when I talk about this kind of stuff, it's like weird because I'm sure the timelines are off. But today, while I'm recording this, which is a couple weeks before it goes out, we got the announcement for the 1.8 update? 1.8, is that it? Is that all we're on? Or whatever, the 0.8 update. The one with the restaurants and the ability to create shops, which I actually think is going to be really cool, and I'm definitely going to play with that. I probably won't redo this entry area with shops. I don't think that's totally worth it. But when we go forward in the next areas, because the update is coming out after I finish filming these first few episodes, but obviously when I get back and start doing these in more real time, I can incorporate those into our future areas. And I think it's going to be so perfect, because I have this idea where I would love to do like a lodge, like a ski lodge sort of thing at the bottom of the mountain. And then another idea that I have is like a hot springs area as well. And I think those would be so much better if they could have actual like proper shops inside, and gift shops, and maybe the restaurants and all of that. I'm really excited to play around with that and do some like interior decorating in this game. I don't know, I'm wondering I still don't know what the DLC is going to be, by now. But I don't know what the DLC is going to be yet. But either way, I haven't really played around much with interior decorating in this game, because the pieces we've had have never really, I don't know, they're not really meant for interior decorating, obviously. Like, it's not, you have to be very creative to get this game to work with you if you want to do interior decorating. So maybe we'll get some stuff for that in the DLC, I don't know. But either way, I'll look into it a bit, and we'll definitely play around a lot with some interior decorating stuff in this zoo as we go forward, because I think that's just such a nice, lovely little, it's such a fun little touch, I think. And it'll be a fun way to build a little bit differently than I'm used to building. We're ready for challenges already. We're experts at building now, I'm just kidding. I know I've been improving. Building has been getting better, but why not just take on another challenge and start doing some interior stuff too? So I'm really looking forward to that. I am actually very excited about just, working on this zoo in general, even in the new year. I think it's going to be a really fun one. To get all of these cool Arctic animals in and stuff. And we'll see. I don't know if the DLC is going to be an animal DLC. Probably. They always are, I think. Have they always been? Yeah, I think they've always had animals in the DLC, of course. It's a zoo game. So I'm excited to see what animals it is. It's obviously not Arctic. We already have the Arctic animals. So it might not be super relevant to the zoo, but we'll see. Okay, so one last little walkthrough through this area, and then we'll go and take a look at the park. Or I guess one last view. I'm not going to walk through it too hard. But yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like with the extra little bit of decor. I know there's not much added here, but this is kind of, I mean, with this building here, it does add a bit, and you can kind of see the park through the archway in the background there a little bit, which is fun. And yeah, let's go take a look at what it looks like through here. So here we are, greeted by a couple of beautiful Christmas trees or decorated trees. And yeah, we can go through this way. This is what the little shelter area looks like from down here. I think it fits in really well. I think I was saying that already. But oh, look at that, our baby reindeer running around. Oh, how cute are they? Oh, I like how the reindeer are actually reproducing pretty quickly, because there's 2 females in here and they both seem to like get pregnant constantly at the same time. But yeah, here's the new reindeer building as well. I don't think I had mentioned it in the build, but I got rid of the windows just because I figured it made more sense for an animal enclosure not to have glass windows, like an animal shelter. So I think it still looks okay without the windows, a little bit more plain, but I think that makes sense for kind of like a barn. And yeah, if we come over here, we can see, game's a little bit laggy actually. I need to fix that, but yeah, this is just kind of what it looks like in here. I think it's nice. It's a nice area in here. And beavers, not much change here other than, of course, the lighting and the kind of shelter here, but this is what it looks like. And ooh, did we actually finally get some baby beavers? No, none of those are baby beavers, are they? Actually, I want to take a check. Just a real quick check here to end it off. Do we have any baby beavers? Oh, we do have one. Okay. Oh, and she's pregnant again. Okay, perfect. Where is he? Okay, they actually don't look, they're not super small, but let's see if we can get a close-up look. Oh, look at his cute little face, though. Oh, I love that. Look how cute he is. Oh, okay. Yes, that was worth it. Aw, look at you. Okay, I'm not over it. All right, anyway. Yeah, I think that, oops, I just want to get out of this view, please. There we go. Yeah, there is our kind of the entry, the very first part of our zoo with the first couple of habitats totally wrapped up. You can see this is that staff building that I was building over there, and then another one. Obviously, I built this one, expanded it out to cover the buildings over there, and now we can't really see anything, you know, there's nothing misplaced really anymore, so that's awesome. But yeah, so I was saying in the speed build there that I wasn't sure what the new DLC was going to be, and I don't know, for some reason I rely on like YouTube videos and people posting them to like notify me when things like that are announced, but they actually did announce it. I saw it on Steam, the European pack. So a little bit unfortunate that it didn't come out before we built this area. Maybe we'll have to come back and improve it with some of the pieces, but it looks very themed, like the exact same as what we're doing right now, like that scenario view with like the Swiss Alps. I mean, that was my plan. Essentially, that's like that was the whole base idea for this zoo. So that's exciting. There's gonna be so many pieces we can use in there, and it does actually look like quite a few animals as well. So honestly, I will probably include all of the ones that are taiga or like just cold, that will, you know, be happy in the cold, that I don't have to heat. But if there are any specific ones you want to see, let me know. I also think that does mean I was going back and forth as to whether or not I was going to pre-film one more video for the new year to prevent a 2-week break, but I actually want to wait because I want to use the new building pieces, or at least have them as an option going forward. So that does mean I think there's going to be a 2-week break in between this one and the next video, but I hope you all don't mind, and I hope you had a great or have, I suppose, haven't had. Well, this is posted like halfway through what I would call like winter break. So I hope you all have a fantastic holiday season, whatever it is that you celebrate, and, you know, a great new year. And I will see you in the new year, just a couple of weeks in, I think. And I am so excited to pick this up again and see everything that's going to come with that new DLC, and how we can play around with all of that. I'm so excited that it's actually worked out. I've never like been like building a zoo that the DLC matches perfectly when it comes out, so I'm really excited for that. And yeah, that is pretty much all that I have. So as always, let me know in the comment section below any suggestions you have, any cool ideas, maybe cool ideas that have been sparked by the new DLC. I know my brain's going to be running all, Christmas break thinking probably about cool ideas, and I'm excited to see everybody's new cool builds. And everything like that. So yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions or even what you think about this place so far, and I will talk to you in the next one.